Welcome back to New Day Northwest. You know, you have one more day to return your ballot. The midterm election is tomorrow, so get those ballots in. Here to walk us through those top races right now are our King 5 political analysts, former Washington Governor Gary Locke and former Washington Attorney General Rob McKenna. Thank you both for being here.
You bet. Thank you.
Love having your expertise and just kind of your view on these things. So, again, very grateful because you're going to be here tomorrow night and it's going to be a long night. So before people get their ballots in, let's talk about some of the top races. Let's start with the U.S. Senate. Democrat incumbent Patty Murray faces this kind of upstart Republican challenger, Tiffany Smiley.
Right.
It's going to be a really close race. I think
so?
we both
we
knew
agree.
that going on, even though the primaries, Patty Murray had a good lead. But we always knew that as the election day comes along, all races will tighten up.
You know, absolutely right. You know, it's a historic race. We've never had two women run for the U.S. Senate against each other that I can remember.
Yeah.
And it is a lot closer than anyone thought. You can tell because Vice President Harris came in to campaign for Senator Murray. She shouldn't be having a problem winning her re-election, and yet here she is in a very tight race.
It is amazing to see Tiffany Smiley. I mean, she seemed to come out of nowhere.
Right.
And then as the election has gone on, you can see there's clearly more money for her campaign. I mean, where has all this support come from?
Well, a lot of it has come from out of state, all the various interest groups, the Senate campaign. The Republicans have their own political action committee, and a lot of their supporters are targeting this particular race because the Republicans want to regain control of the Senate.
It's true, and Tiffany has caught people's attention nationally. She's raised over $13 million, which is a remarkable amount for a first-time candidate.
Yeah.
She's just got a real way with voters. I've been impressed by hearing her speak when I've been with her in person.
Yeah.
And her message seems to be resonating, so she might have picked the right year to run, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about U.S. House District 8. This is a big area. It covers 5 different counties: King, Snohomish, Pierce, Chelan, Kittitas. Democrat incumbent Kim Schreier versus Matt Larkin.
Right. So, you know, Kim has been there a couple of terms. It's a purple district. It was designed to be a swing district. It can go either way, Republican or Democrat. Those Eastern Washington votes and those Pierce County votes give Republicans a chance. Matt Larkin ran for Attorney General a couple of years ago and then won the primary in a pretty convincing fashion. So in a swing district with 2 candidates with very sharply contrasting messages, you've got a horse race.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tight one. With all of these races in the state of Washington, we may not know the results for several days because in our state, ballots must have been received or postmarked. They must have been postmarked or dropped in the box by election night. And so a lot of those ballots are coming in, let's say today or tomorrow, in the mail, and they won't be opened for several days. We may not know the results for the Senate race or the House race until maybe even late this week or early next week.
I was imagining it would be early next week, given that how much that can be an issue. Let's move on to U.S. House District 3. That's Southwest Washington. We've got Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez versus Republican Joe Kent. Where do we think this is? It was surprising to see Jamie Herrera Butler lose in the primary, was it not?
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I've known Jamie a long time. I think Gary has as well. She's been a very capable congresswoman, but she voted to certify the election and then voted for Donald Trump's second impeachment, and she had a target on her forehead as a result. And she lost a lot of votes to another Republican who didn't get out of the primary. So it was a very competitive 3-way race, and she came in kind of a distant second. So the real question is, can Joe Kent, who's pretty far to the right, manage to win in this district?
But this district is, for the last several years, solidly Republican. And so, it's going to be a contrast. The Democratic candidate is saying that, he's out of touch with the real issues of the voters. And so we'll have to see.
Yeah. All right, Secretary of the State, this is the person who oversees the elections in our state. And as a journalist, this is someone we have really come to count on when it comes to understanding how all of it works. So Democrat Steve Hobbs was appointed to the job last year. He's hoping to keep it after Kim Wyman left. His challenger is Pierce County Auditor Julie Anderson, who's running as an independent. Now, how do you know? Because this is a job that really requires someone to know their stuff. How do you know who to choose in this race?
Well, it's going to be a toss-up again. Although I think the polls are showing that Steve Hobbs is in the lead because he's got money for advertisements and the media campaign. But actually, the challenger is also a Democrat. She's running as a nonpartisan candidate. The reality is that the elections are really done at the local level.
Yeah.
And so the Secretary of State actually has many duties really looking at, for instance, cybersecurity and all these other issues, which Steve Hobbs has some background in, given his military service. It's a sleeper race. Not many people pay much attention to the Secretary of State race, but who knows?
Julie Anderson, as Gary mentioned, is an elections official right now. She is the Pierce County auditor, and she's held that job for quite a while. She came to my attention when she endorsed Republican Kim Wyman for re-election to Secretary of State twice, taking a stand there. She was the only woman on the ballot in the primary, and there were 3 Republicans running, none of whom advanced to the general election. So for the first time in our state's history, you have someone running as an independent against a partisan office holder. And it'll be interesting to see if she can win as an independent. It'll be the first time.
It would be interesting, and I do encourage folks to really start to pay attention to those races that may seem like sleeper, may seem like just an automatic check when you're going through the ballot. Make sure you're doing your reading on that. Speaking of which, can you help us just kind of untangle some of the propositions or measures to watch, like King County Prop 1, the conservation tax?
Well, that's, as a former county council member sitting next to the former county executive,
Right.
I cut my teeth on conservation issues when I first got involved in King County years ago. I voted for it today when I filled out my ballot, and I think investing in conservation makes sense. It's not that expensive, and I think the county has been a good steward of conservation dollars over the many years that they've been investing.
Yeah.
People in this area very much revere our outdoor areas, open space, preservation of forest lands, agricultural lands, parks, and recreation. So I'm very optimistic that will pass.
I agree.
I think it's a very important thing. All right, really quickly before I let you go, both, we only have about 30 seconds left, but can you kind of tell me the themes of this election cycle? You've noticed them, and I'm sure our viewers have as well.
The economy for Republicans. What do you think?
Well, and it's also women's right to choose and the reaction to the Supreme Court decision, because the Supreme Court decision took away more than just the constitutional right to an abortion, but also the underlying rationale and justification for same-sex marriage, interracial marriage, contraception. So there's going to be a lot of focus on that issue of the right of privacy, which is no longer constitutionally guaranteed. And will the Congress try to make inroads and take away that, or ensure that the states cannot encroach upon these issues?
It'll be interesting.
Yep. Supreme Court threw it to the states. Our state made our decision a long time ago to give a woman the right to choose, so that's not going to change here.
Unless the Congress restricts it. So.
Highly unlikely, of course. But, they can't seem to pass anything, so much less something that controversial.
There is that. That is true. Thank you both for being here. And, of course, Gary and Rob will be back with us tomorrow night. As the results come in, King 5 will have you covered on all the big races, locally and nationally. If you need to understand what's happening on the national scale, you've got to tune into King 5. We will be live on Kong, king5.com, and King 5 Plus starting at 8 o'clock Tuesday night. All right. Well,